What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we have some unfortunate news that we could possibly see the end of a 37-year era of Showtime boxing, as Showtime President of Sports Steven Espinosa could be out of a job with Showtime Boxing, and this of 2023 could be the last year of Showtime Boxing, eerie similar to what took place with HBO. Okay, Showtime Boxing now, Showtime itself is making some major overhauls, and now we have Showtime being swallowed up by Paramount Plus, and they're stating that they're going to revisit everything by February 23rd, and anything that's not making sense and not making big money and is not a big factor for Paramount Plus and Showtime moving forward, they're going to do away with. And sports is one of the things that's highlighted that could possibly be done away with. Okay, so we may not see Showtime Sports overall. That's going to include Showtime Boxing. Okay, so here's a few things that's taking place. It says, quote, "I'm thrilled to share the next step in our company's evolution. Today, we're announcing that this will be fully integrating Showtime into Paramount Plus across both streaming and linear platforms later this year, providing even more popular franchises and hit originals for viewers to enjoy. To reflect this change, both our premium streaming tier on Paramount Plus and Showtime linear network will become Paramount Plus with a Showtime in the U.S. Okay, and this could mark the end of Showtime. 47-year standalone identity. Okay, and the end of the era of boxing, right? So they highlighted a few things that they are interested in keeping, and again, sports is not one of them. Specifically mentioning Powerful Worlds, Yellow Jackets, Dexter, and Billions, amongst others. Those are the things that are being mentioned. Okay, but what's highlighted is not being mentioned as one of the things that they're interested in pushing forward with is sports on Showtime. Okay, and it says, quote, "We will divert investments away from areas that are underperforming and that account for less than 10% of our views." Again, let me say it again. It says we will divert investments away from areas that are underperforming and that account for less than 10% of our views. The most important thing to note here is that it says not that sports and Showtime Boxing is underperforming, but it counts for less than 10% of our views, and boxing accounts for less than 10% of their views. So let me say it to you again. It says, quote, "We will divert investments away from areas that are underperforming, okay, and that are accountable for less than 10% of our views." So they're saying they're going to do away with, and guess what? Boxing accounts for less than 10% of Showtime's views. So boxing falls in that category. And so this says, the comments and moves are very reminiscent of similar transitions at HBO, with famously dropping boxing completely back in 2018 after 45 years and over 1,000 fights. Okay, it says the same comments was made by the VP of HBO that stated this by Peter Nelson. He said, "Our audience," quote, he said, "Our audience research informs us that boxing is no longer a determining factor for subscribing to HBO." Not even 2 years later, Nelson joined boxing in the formerly of HBO category as a part of ongoing disengagement from sports programming layoffs of over 600 employees, right? HBO has made the same transition, okay, that Showtime is heading into. HBO is a streaming platform currently known as HBO Max now. Have been a part of series spinoffs, rebrandings, mergers, and reorganizing involving cancellations of existing properties and the vaulting of completed projects. never to be released. So this is going to see the end of a 37-year run of Showtime boxing. Okay, it says for a boxing fan, it's distressingly similar. Okay, only this time with boxing future unmentioned and unresolved. So this could spell the end of Showtime boxing. Okay. This article also states the potential end of Showtime boxing will also have an obvious second and third order effects on Al Heyman's PBC, a premier Showtime broadcast partner and major content provider, and potentially the current boxing pay-per-view business model. So it's saying that, they could possibly end Showtime boxing. McCarthy's memo announced on a February 23rd company's town hall meeting in Los Angeles with further details. Okay. So McCarthy is one, that's partnering with making this change with Showtime. And on February 23rd, they'll have a town hall meeting in Los Angeles, and they will have further information about what's going to come and what's going to take place. This is what I was telling you guys, that the budget this was not there this year, okay, to make big fights. Hence the reason why you only saw these fighters fighting once last year, once a year, okay. You only saw Gervonta Tank Davis fight once in 2022. You saw Keith Thurman fight once in 22. Jamel Charlo once in 22. Errol Spence once in 2022. David Benavidez once in 2022. And the list goes on and on and on. Okay, big fights was not being put on due to the lack of funds. Okay, the budget was just simply not there. It's not important to Paramount. Okay, and it's abundantly clear that Showtime boxing and sports overall is just not important to what they're looking to do and the overhaul and the changes they're looking to make. What does this say for the PBC? And what does this say for Al Heyman and these fighters? What does this say for the Errol Spencers of the world and the Gervonta Tank Davis? Gervonta Tank Davis just branched out from underneath Mayweather Promotions, and now he's focused on GTD Promotions, Gervonta Tank Davis Promotions. Showtime had their first big card of the year when they had Gervonta Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia with a stacked undercard. And now they announced that March 25th, they're going to have a major pay-per-view showdown between David Benavidez and Caleb Plant. Okay. And then moving forward, they have a few more fights that are lined up. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Ryan Garcia, April 15th. It looks like Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman is possibly going to be in May. I know people are saying, where did that come from? Well, it's coming from a great source from Showtime. Let's say that. That explained to me that we could possibly see Keith Thurman versus Errol Spence in May. Okay. So with that said, we know Errol Spence said April, May, or June he'll be back. But this could possibly be the last year of Showtime boxing, right? What does that mean for Al Heyman and the PBC? What does that mean for these fighters? Okay. We know that Fox hasn't been engaged with PBC this year. There's not many big fights. We saw the fight with Deontay Wilder. That was the biggest fight. What else is there out there for Fox, right? Nothing. So with that said, Bernard Hopkins just made mention of this, saying that the budget is gone, the money is gone, and the fighters are starting to scramble and look for other places to go to stage these fights. And now, right now, as it fares, it looks like Showtime is heading in the same direction that HBO is heading in, as they state that, once again, I quote, anything that represents under 10% of what they're looking to do of their of importance, then they're going to do away with. Anything underperforming or represents less than 10% of their viewership, they're going to do away with. So this is unfortunate because this is an era of boxing that's, a staple in the sport, just like HBO. It's a turnover, it's a change. Nothing lasts forever, but we got to see how this unfolds and plays out. And where does this land all of these fighters? Is PBC going to get another major network deal from somewhere else? We got to see. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV.